ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి, జేఈఈ అయినా, నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
What is the sequence of conduction of action potential through the nodal tissue means? At first, action potential is generated in sinoatrial node, that is SCA node. In SCA node, action potential is gets generated, that is conducted onto the both sides of the walls of atria. Means from the SCA node, that is reaches to atrial walls, that is said to be as the atrial syncytium. Means from the SCA node, action potential is conducted onto both sides of the walls of atria, that is the atrial wall or the atrial syncytium. From that, information is conducted to AV node, that is conducted to AV node, that is the atrioventricular node. From that, information is conducted to AV muscle, this is said to be as the atrioventricular muscle, that is the AV muscles, AV muscle, atrioventricular muscle, this is the atrioventricular muscle. Again from the atrioventricular muscle bundle, that will be reaches to the bundle branches. This is the bundle branches. Again from there, information is conducted to the Purkinje fibers. From the Purkinje fibers, that information is conducted to both sides of the walls of ventricle, onto the walls of ventricles, that is the ventricular syncytium. So what is the sequence of conduction of action potential through the nodal tissue means? From SCA node, at first information is conducted onto the both sides of the walls of atria, from where information is reaches to the atrioventricular node or AV node, from where that is reaches to atrioventricular muscle, from where that will be reaches to the bundle branches, from where that will be reaches to the Purkinje fibers. Through the Purkinje fibers, this information is conducted onto the both sides of the walls of ventricle. This is the sequence of conduction of action potential through the nodal tissue. AV node, atrial wall or atrial syncytium, AV node, AV muscle, bundle branches, Purkinje fibers, walls of ventricle. Next, what is the artificial pacemaker? Whenever it is suggested by cardiologist means, what is the artificial pacemaker? Artificial pacemaker is a device. It is suggested whenever the heartbeat of person is decreases to 20 to 35 times per minute. Definitely whenever the SCA node as well as AV nodes are becomes non-functional, rest of the nodal tissue involved in the generation of action potential for continuation of the heartbeat. During that, heartbeat rate may be 20 to 35 times per minute. So during that, this artificial pacemaker insertion must be required. So what is the artificial pacemaker means? It is the device in which a battery is present, impulse generator impulse generator are present. Definitely in the case of the artificial pacemaker, a battery is present. This is the battery. This is the battery. This is the impulse generator. These two are present in the artificial pacemaker. Later this artificial pacemaker is connected to sensors or lead or wires. Definitely this artificial pacemaker is connected to the wires. Later these wires have to be threaded into free cowl vein. Through that they have to be inserted into the both sides of the walls of heart chambers. Means this artificial pacemaker have to be placed in chest region just below to the clavicle. This is the clavicle. In this particular area that have to be gets inserted. Artificial pacemaker have to be inserted under the skin inferior to clavicle. Inferior to clavicle means this is the clavicle. Inferior to clavicle means here that artificial pacemaker have to be implanted under the skin. Implanted under the skin. Later wires have to be threaded into the heart chambers through free cowl vein. Later they have to be innervated into the both sides of the walls of heart. In that way, definitely artificial pacemaker is with a battery and also impulse generator. The device have to be implanted under the skin just below to the clavicle. Later wires have to be threaded into the free cowl vein. Through them they have to be inserted into the heart chambers. From where that may be spreaded into the both sides of the walls of heart for the generation of action potential and for the returning of heartbeat to the normal, that is the 72 times per minute. This is the structure of heart. Next continuation, working of the heart or the functioning of heart. Next one is the working of heart or the functioning of heart. Next functioning of heart or working of heart. So definitely before going to the working of heart, before going to the functioning of heart, at first you have to know what is the systole, what is the diastole. What is the systole, what is the diastole means? Contraction of heart chamber, either atrial contraction or ventricular contraction. Contraction of heart chamber is said to be as the systole, or this also called as the depolarization. Depolarization of heart. So definitely atrial contraction is said to be as the systole or depolarization. Diastole nothing but heart chambers relaxation is said to be as the diastole or repolarization. This is the repolarization. Definitely during the working of the heart, atrias as well as ventricles are alternatively undergoes the systole and diastole. While atrias are in contraction, During that ventricles are in relaxation, while ventricles are in contraction, atrias are in relaxation. Never both atrias and ventricles are simultaneously gets contracted. Never both atrias and ventricles are simultaneously contracted. Alternatively, atrias and ventricles are gets contracted during the working of the heart for the pumping of the blood to the out. Again, to betterly explain this functioning of the heart or the working of the heart, we have to consider cardiac cycle. Definitely, what is the cardiac cycle? All the events which are occurs one after another in a heartbeat together constitute cardiac cycle. Whatever the events which are occurs in a sequence in single heartbeat, that events are collectively constitute cardiac cycle. Number of cardiac cycles, number of cardiac cycles, number of cardiac cycles are equal to number of heartbeats. Definitely for minute 72 times heart is gets beats. Then in 1 minute, how many number of the cardiac cycles are occurs means 72. Definitely if the number of the heartbeats are 100 per minute, then how many number of the cardiac cycles are occurs in 1 minute? 100. Otherwise, in the normal condition, heartbeat rate is 72 times per minute. Then what are the cardiac cycles which may be occurs in 1 minute means 72 times. So what I am saying here that number of cardiac cycles are equals to number of heartbeat. Definitely this is very important. In NEET examination point of view, several times this question may be repeated. So that only you should remember. Number of cardiac cycles are always equals to heartbeat rate. Heartbeat rate. So in 1 minute, if the heartbeat rate is 72 times per minute, then in 1 minute how many number of the cardiac cycles are occurs means 72. Again, one more important point. Duration of cardiac cycle, duration of cardiac cycle is equal to 60 by heartbeat rate. Definitely to calculate the duration of the cardiac cycle, what is the principle means? 60 by heartbeat rate. For example, if the heartbeat rate of the person is 72 times per minute, what is the duration of the cardiac cycle means? That equal to 60 by 72, that equal to 0.8 seconds. Definitely in the case of 60 seconds, that is the 60 seconds. So definitely duration of the cardiac cycle is equal to 60 seconds by heartbeat rate. If in the case whenever the person is in resting, if his heartbeat is 72 times per minute, then what would be the duration of the cardiac cycle means 0.8 second. So in that way, whenever they given the heartbeat rate, by using this principle we can easily calculate duration of the cardiac cycle. So once again I repeat, what is the cardiac cycle means? the events which may be occurs in a sequence in one heartbeat, all such events together constitute the cardiac cycle. All the events which may be occurred in a sequence in one heartbeat, all that events together called as the cardiac cycle, together constitute the cardiac cycle. Number of the cardiac cycles equal to number of the heartbeats. Cardiac cycle duration is equal to 60 seconds by the heartbeat rate. If in the case person is in resting, if this heartbeat rate is 72 times per minute, during that what is the duration of the cardiac cycle means 0.8 seconds. Again, what are the events which may be occurred? So what are the events which may be occurred in a sequence in a single cardiac cycle means, first event is atrial systole, second event is ventricular systole, third event is joint diastolic phase. Third phase is the joint diastolic phase. So in the single cardiac cycle, what are the events which may be occurs in a sequence? Means atrial systole, ventricular systole, joint diastolic phase. Definitely in this case, atrial systole duration is 0.1 second, ventricular systole duration is 0.3 seconds, joint diastolic phase duration is 0.4 seconds. So in that way, atrial systole is completed within 0.1 second, ventricular systole is completed within 0.3 seconds, joint diastolic phase gets completed within 0.4 second. Then what is the atrial systole? Means definitely just before the beginning of atrial systole, just before the beginning of atrial systole, all four chambers of heart are in relaxation. Definitely just before the beginning of atrial systole. Atrial systole means what? Atrial contraction. Contraction of both sides of the atria is said to be as the atrial systole. Just before the beginning of atrial contraction, all four chambers of heart are in relaxation. That is the joint diastolic state. Just before the beginning of atrial systole, all four chambers of the heart means right atria, left atria, right ventricle, left ventricles are in relaxation. So that only during that, from the right atria into right ventricle, 70% of the blood gets pumped. 70% of the blood from the right atria is pumped into the right ventricle on or before beginning of the atrial contraction. Means just before the beginning of the atrial contraction, just before the beginning of both sides of the atrial contraction, all four chambers are in relaxation. All four chambers are in relaxation. So that only from the right atria, 70% of the blood gets pumped into the right ventricle. Similarly, from the left atria, 70% of the blood is pumped into the left ventricle. Then, from where blood is pumped into the right atria means on or before beginning of atrial contraction, right atria receive deoxygenated blood from the various parts of the body through post-caval vein, free caval veins, through the coronary sinus. Definitely, right atria always receives deoxygenated blood from various parts of the body through post-caval vein. This is said to be as the post-caval vein, through the free caval veins and through the coronary sinus. This right atria receives deoxygenated blood. Similarly, left atria receives oxygenated blood from the lungs through 4 pulmonary veins. Just before the beginning of atrial contraction, just before the beginning of both sides of the atrial contraction, definitely right atria receives deoxygenated blood from the various parts of the body through the caval veins and coronary sinus, and left atria receives oxygenated blood from the lung through pulmonary veins. So that of that kind of the collected blood, 70% of the blood gets reaches into respective side of ventricle on or before beginning of the contraction of atria. Means before the beginning of the contraction of the right atria, 70% of collected deoxygenated blood is pumped into the right ventricle. From the left atria of the collected blood, 70% of the oxygenated blood is pumped into left ventricle. If the 70% of blood from atria into ventricles, if it is pumped on or before beginning of contraction of atrial, on or before beginning of contraction of atria, 70% of the blood from right atria is pumped into right ventricle, 70% of the blood from left atria is pumped into left ventricle. Then that kind of the pumping is said to be as the passive ventricular filling. That is said to be as the passive ventricular filling, that is 70%. Why we say it is the passive? Here for pumping of the 70% of the blood from atria into ventricle, this atrias may not be gets contracted. For that contraction, energy may not be gets utilized. So that only on or before atrial contraction, on or before beginning of the atrial contraction, 70% of the blood from the right atria gets pumped into the right ventricle, from the left atria into left ventricle. That is said to be as the passive ventricular filling. You should remember here, 70% of the blood from the right atria is pumped into right ventricle. Again, 70% of the oxygenated blood gets pumped into the left ventricle from the left atria separately. After that, from the SCA node, after that, from the SCA node, action potential is generated after pumping of 70% of the blood from the atria into ventricle only. From the SCA node, action potential gets generated. That action potential immediately conducted onto the both sides of the walls of atria. By that way, both sides of the walls of atria gets contracted simultaneously. After pumping of 70% of the blood from the atria into ventricle, then only from the SCA node, action potential gets generated. That action potential spreads onto the both sides of the walls of atria simultaneously. By that way, both the sides of the walls of atrias are gets contracted simultaneously. As a result of this, remaining 30% of the blood is gets forcefully pumped into the ventricles due to the contraction of both sides of atrias. Means whenever the both sides of the atrias are contracted, definitely in atrias pressure is starts to raise. Whenever the atrias are right atria is gets contracted, pressure inside of right atria on the blood is increases. As a result of this, deoxygenated blood from the right atria is pumped into right ventricle. Remaining 30% of the blood which is present in the right atria is gets forcefully pumped into the right ventricle due to its contraction. Similarly, whenever the left atria is gets contracted, you should remember both sides of the atrias are contracted simultaneously. Due to that, inside of atrias pressure is gets rises. By that way, remaining 30% of the blood from the atrias is gets forcefully pumped into ventricle. So that is said to be as the atrioventricular filling. That is said to be as the atrioventricular filling. Means 30% of the deoxygenated blood from right atria is pumped into right ventricle by right atrial contraction. Similarly, 30% of the oxygenated blood is pumped from the left atria into left ventricle by left atria contraction. Due to the contraction of both sides of the atrias, if this remaining 30% of the blood from the respective side of atria is pumped into respective side of ventricle, then that is said to be as the atrioventricular filling. Definitely, whenever the both sides of the atrias are in contraction, during that ventricles are in relaxation. Whenever both sides of the atrias are in contraction, these ventricles are in relaxation. So the end of atrial contraction is equals to end of the ventricular relaxation. Because as the atrial contraction is gets completed, definitely we can say ventricular relaxation is also completed. Because as the atrial contraction is completed, later immediately ventricles have to be start the contraction. So that only the end of atrial contraction is equals to end of the ventricular relaxation. Definitely at the time of the atrial contraction, ventricles are in relaxation. As the atrial contraction is gets completed, then we can say ventricular relaxation also completed. So that only we can say end of atrial systole equal to end of ventricular diastole. That is the ventricular relaxation. As the atrial contraction is gets completed, definitely we can say ventricular relaxation is also completed. At the end of ventricular relaxation or at the end of atrial contraction, finally how much volume of the blood is reaches to each and every ventricle. At the end of the atrial contraction or at end of ventricular relaxation, how much amount of the blood is reaches into each and every respective side of ventricle means that is 120 ml. Here into the right ventricle from the right atria 120 ml is gets reaches. Again from the left atria into left ventricle, finally 120 ml maybe gets reaches. Means we cannot say 120 ml exactly from the right atria into right ventricle, left atria into left ventricle. Finally, at the end of atrial systole or at the end of ventricular diastole, finally how much volume of the blood is present in each and every ventricle, means that is the 120 ml. We cannot say 100% this 120 ml is comes from the right atria into right ventricle, left atria into left ventricle. So here point is that at the end of ventricular diastole, at the end of ventricular relaxation or at end of the atrial contraction, finally how much volume of the blood is present in each and every ventricle, means that is 120 ml. That is said to be as the end diastolic volume, that is simply called as the EDV, that equal to 120 ml. That is the 120 ml. Definitely end diastolic volume, that is EDV equal to 120 ml, means at end of atrial contraction or at end of ventricular relaxation, finally in each and every ventricle how much volume of the blood is present, means that is 120 ml. That is said to be as the end diastolic volume or EDV. Again, after completing atrial contraction, that contraction wave is reaches to the AV node. After completing the atrial contraction, that contraction wave, that action potential is reaches to the AV node. Later from the AV node, that information is reaches to the AV muscle. Again from where? Through the bundle branches, through the Purkinje fibers, finally that is reaches to the walls of ventricle. Definitely just assume this is the SCA node, this is the AV node. After completing the both sides of the atrial contraction wave is reaches to the AV node, from where that is conducted to the AV muscle, from where that is reaches to the bundle branches, from where through the Purkinje fibers that is gets conducted to the both sides of the walls of ventricle. As a result of this, both the sides of the walls of ventricles starts contraction simultaneously. Whenever that conduction wave, whenever that contraction wave reaches to the both sides of the walls of ventricle through Purkinje fibers, then both the sides of the walls of ventricles starts simultaneous contraction. Whenever both the sides of the walls of ventricles starts a contraction, pressure inside of ventricle is gradually increases. Whenever both the sides of the walls of ventricles starts a contraction, pressure which is exerted on ventricle, on blood of the ventricles is gradually increases. As a result of this, blood tries to reversely flow from the ventricles into atria. Whenever both the sides of the ventricles starts contraction, pressure inside of both sides of the ventricles is gradually increases. By that way, blood at first tries to reversely flow from the right ventricle into right atria, left ventricle into left atria. So that only to prevent that reverse flow of blood from right atria into right ventricle into right atria, at first tricuspid valve is gets closes, tricuspid valve is gets closes simultaneously to prevent the reverse flow of the blood from the left ventricle into left atria. Bicuspid valve is gets closes. As the pressure in ventricles is increases due to contraction of both sides of ventricle, this blood is tries to reversely flow into atrias of respective side to prevent that both the sides of the tricuspid and bicuspid valves are gets closes by leaving a sound that is said to be as the lub sound. That is the first heart sound. Definitely, whenever the lub sound is gets delivered means during the ventricular systole, during the ventricular contraction, due to closing of tricuspid and bicuspid valve, this lub sound is gets delivered. That is the first heart sound. Definitely this lub sound is less louder with low pitch and longer. Definitely this sound is delivered a long period. Definitely lub sound, that is the first heart sound, is less louder, that is with low pitch, that is longer. This is mainly due to the closure of the tricuspid and bicuspid valve during the ventricular contraction. So whenever that kind of the tricuspid and bicuspid valves are closes, as these ventricles are in contraction, definitely pressure may be increases to peak into level in both sides of the ventricle. Whenever the pressure in both sides of the ventricles is rises, whenever the pressure in both sides of the ventricles is increases into peak into level, then definitely here whatever the pulmonary valve is present, that is gets open. Here whatever the aortic valve is present, that is gets open. Normal in the case of the pulmonary arch, normal blood pressure is 90 mmHg. In the case of the left ventricle also, it is approximately 120 mmHg. So whenever this right ventricular pressure becomes greater than 90 mmHg of pulmonary trunk, definitely blood forces to get open pulmonary valve. Whenever in the left ventricle pressure becomes greater than 120 mmHg of aortic arch or the systemic arch, definitely here aortic arch gets open. By that way, from the right ventricle, deoxygenated blood is pumped into the pulmonary arch. From the left ventricle, oxygenated blood is pumped into the systemic arch. Means whenever the ventricular contraction is begin, then pressure starts to rise, then blood starts to reversely flow from the ventricle into atria. During that, at first tricuspid and bicuspid valves are gets closes to prevent the reverse flow of the blood from ventricle into atria. During that, definitely lub sound gets delivered. That is the first heart sound. That is less louder. That is with low pitch. That is longer. After getting the closing of this tricuspid and bicuspid valve, these ventricles are still in contraction. As a result of this ventricular contraction is going on. As a result of this, pressure inside of both sides of the ventricles reaches to peak into level. whenever the pressure in right ventricle is becomes greater than pressure of pulmonary arch, that is 90 mmHg, this pulmonary valve is gets open. This blood forces, blood which is present in the right ventricle forces to gets open the pulmonary valve. By that way, blood starts to pump into the pulmonary arch. Simultaneously, whenever pressure in left ventricle is becomes greater than systemic arch, that is 120 mmHg, definitely this blood forces to open the aortic valve. By that way, this blood from the left ventricle is pumped into the systemic arch. In that way, at the end of ventricular contraction, from each and every ventricle, how much volume of the blood is pumped out means 70 ml of blood is pumped out from the right ventricle into the pulmonary arch. Similarly, 70 ml of the blood is pumped out from the left ventricle into systemic arch. Means at the end of ventricular contraction, how much volume of the blood from the ventricle is gets sent out, how much amount of the blood is gets sent out from each and every side of the ventricle into the respective side of the pulmonary arch, respective side of the arches, means from the right ventricle 70 ml of deoxygenated blood is pumped into the pulmonary arch. Similarly, from the left ventricle, again another 70 ml of the blood is pumped into the systemic arch. That is nothing but 70 ml of blood which is pumped out from each and every side of ventricle into respective side of the arch by ventricular contraction is said to be as the stroke volume or beat volume. That is the 70 ml for beat or for ventricular contraction. Definitely for single heartbeat, how much volume of the blood is sent out from each and every side of ventricle into respective arches means 70 ml. Definitely during the single cardiac cycle, this right ventricle sent 70 ml of the blood into the pulmonary arch. Again left ventricle sent out 70 ml of the blood into the systemic arch. In that way, the volume of blood which is pumped out by each and every ventricle in a single heartbeat is said to be as the stroke volume or the beat volume. After sending out of 70 ml of blood from the right ventricle, then after how much volume of the blood is retains in right ventricle means that is the 50 ml. Because at the end of the ventricular diastole, how much volume of the blood is present in the right ventricle means 120 ml. During the ventricular contraction, how much amount of the blood is sent out from the 120 ml means 70 ml is gets sent out. After that, how much volume of the blood is retains in right ventricles means 50 ml. Similarly, at the end of the ventricular diastole, on or before beginning of ventricular contraction, how much amount of the blood is present means 120 ml. Of that, 70 ml is gets sent out. Then after, how much volume of the blood is retains in left ventricle means 50 ml. Means at the end of ventricular contraction, at the end of ventricular systole, how much volume of the blood is retains in each and every side of ventricle means 50 ml. That is said to be as the end systolic volume, that equal to 50 ml, that is the ESV. Definitely end systolic volume is only 50 ml. End systolic volume nothing but at the end of ventricular contraction, how much volume of the blood is retains in each and every side of ventricle is said to be as the end systolic volume, that is the ESV. That equal to ESV equal to 50 ml. Definitely to calculate stroke volume or beat volume, or what is the principle means? EDV minus ESV. Definitely what is the EDV? End diastolic volume is 120. End systolic volume is 50. That equal to 70 ml. Definitely stroke volume or beat volume equal to end diastolic volume minus end systolic volume. End diastolic volume is 120 ml. End systolic volume is 50 ml. So that only 120 minus 50, that equal to 70 ml. Then next, what is the ventricular relaxation, that is the joint to diastolic, I will tell in the next class.